The Last Letter, a message from the battlefield. In 1944, amidst the harrowing days of World War II, a young soldier named James Carter, only 23 years old, was deployed to the European front. He wasn't a seasoned warrior, but merely an ordinary young man from a small town in Virginia, United States. He cherished the spring mornings, the golden fields of ripe crops, and the sunlight streaming through the windows of his family's modest wooden house. But now, those images felt like a distant memory as he faced the horrors and brutality of war, death, and devastation. Before heading to the battlefield, James wrote a letter to his newlywed wife, Eleanor. She was the person he loved more than anyone in the world, his sole comfort amidst the dark days of war. My dearest Eleanor, I don't know if I will ever have the chance to return and tell you how much I love you. But if you receive this letter, it means I couldn't fulfill my promise to come back to you. Please remember that I am always there, watching over you every day. Live happily, for our love will never fade. I love you, forever and always. James could not write any further, his fingers trembling as he put the pen down. Each word he wrote felt like a farewell, even though he didn't want to think about that possibility. He entrusted the letter to a reliable comrade with a message. If I cannot return, please deliver this to my wife. The final days. The battle raged on more fiercely than anything James had ever imagined. The soldiers fought in the freezing cold, with scarce supplies and constantly faced with the threat of death. Yet, James never felt alone. The image of Eleanor always appeared in his mind, a light at the end of the tunnel, the sole reason he kept fighting. Every night before falling asleep, he would close his eyes and imagine himself back in her arms, sitting together by a warm fire, listening to melodious music, and savoring peaceful days. Yet, war showed no mercy. And on a fateful day, when the battle reached its most intense point, James made the ultimate sacrifice. Without hesitation, he plunged into danger to save a comrade in distress. The price of his courageous act was his life. The news of his death quickly reached the small town where Eleanor was waiting for her husband to return. But the letter had still not been delivered to her. The fateful letter years passed, and Eleanor lived in sorrow and longing. She never stopped hoping for the day James would return, although with each passing year, that hope grew dimmer. James's letters and the sweet memories of their bygone days were the only things she could hold on to. Yet the final letter still had not arrived. Not until 1972, nearly 3 decades later, did the letter finally reach Eleanor. The comrade from years past, who had promised James, had at last found her address after many years of searching. When he handed the letter to Eleanor, his eyes were filled with tears. I promised James that I would deliver this letter to you, and now I've finally fulfilled that promise. When Eleanor opened the letter, she broke into tears. James's trembling words seemed to transport her back to the joyful days before the war. In that letter, there was not only an expression of love, but also an irreplaceable sacrifice. Live happily, for I will always be with you, in whatever form. Unfading memories. The letter became a treasure, an irreplaceable part of Eleanor's life. The emotions it held remained as vivid as they were on the first day. And though James never returned, his love lived on in her heart forever. She kept the letter with her throughout the many years of her life. Before passing away, she placed it in a small box along with a note that read, "True love is not measured by time, but by the memories we hold forever in our hearts." Even though Eleanor had passed away, James's love remained eternal, like a flame that never extinguished, not in his own heart, but in the heart of the woman who had waited for him her entire life. Thank you for joining Legacy Stories on this journey. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like to follow more exciting stories from Legacy Stories.